What's up, guys? Thank you for joining me. My name is Coach Vassar. This is OTF Audio Daily Beats. We are breaking down day 4 of 12 days of fitness, the best power template. This was originally run on Friday, July 5th. So if it seems kind of familiar, that's why. There are some small changes from the previous time it was ran, but otherwise it's basically the same workout back then. So if it feels really familiar, great. Once again, if you're new to these, thank you for tuning in. Information is in the description to support me. Doing this completely volunteer basis and just trying to help spread my education and give you guys that rundown of what's going to happen for the workout, so that way you are a little bit better prepared moving into your class blocks. So Wednesday, December 4th, go a little bit over everything with the key concepts, talk about the treads, rowers, weight floor, and the 3G. So when we look at today's workout, key thing here is ready to be explosive. This is a power workout that packed the biggest punch in 2024. On the treads, you have 4 blocks. The first 3 follow the same pattern. You'll set your speed and or inclines for the power walkers in the first part of the block with active recovery in between. Then you challenge is to repeat them without that active recovery in the second part. On the rower, you have 1 row block, you have 3 30-second all-outs. How powerful can you be? And then on the floor, you have 3 blocks there. Each block focuses on 1 muscle group worked in 3 ways. So body weight, unloaded, with weight, loaded, and then power, explode. So that's gonna be their main focus on the floor today. So when we look at the treads, as they mentioned, we're going to see a total of 4 blocks. Blocks 1, 2, and 3 follow the same pattern. You're going to see a push, base, all out, walk recovery, and then push all out. So in block 1, we're going to see the longest efforts of the day. They'll start with a 1-minute push, 90-second base, 1 minute all out. The main thing here is we are looking to establish the push and the all out, and then match it or beat it in the bonus of within the block. So for the push, 6% or greater for the power walkers, joggers, and runners, somewhere between 1 to 2 over their base. Usually if they had just started on the treads, I like to get them like right about 1 over their base because they are still kind of preparing their body. 90 seconds at base for that active recovery, so we should see the heart rate trend back down. And then for that 1 minute all out, power walkers 10 plus, joggers, runners, 2 or more over their base speed. Bike striders is always 6 gears over base. Check highest watt output because that's going to be a more true measurement of power for the bikes and striders. Ideally, after that 3.5 minute section of work, they take the full minute to walk, rest, recover, because the next 2 minutes, it's uncomfortable, right to very uncomfortable. So 1 minute push, 1 minute all out. Can they match their efforts from the previous little mini block without that base in between? A great challenge is, can they increase their all out? If they increase their push, it will make the all out feel more challenging as well. If they could both bump both up, that's another way to kind of challenge them. So kind of cater it to your member base, and like the vast majority, most of them, it's going to be about increasing the all out since it is a power day anyways. They'll get 90 seconds to recover at the end of block 1 and then get back to base when they're ready. Blocks 2 and 3 are going to follow the exact same format. The key difference here, the push and the all out are both going to drop by 15. Base stays at 90 seconds. So in block 2, 45 push, 90 base, 45 all out. Because the work efforts are shorter, let's see if we could increase the push and the all out, or at the very least maintain what they did before, especially if they did come out pretty aggressive from the start. Bonus, same thing, 45 push, 45 all out, maintain or increase from what they did with the active recovery in between. Third block, 30 push, 90 base, 30 all out. So this should be the most aggressive push, the most aggressive all out of the day so far. And then they'll have a minute to walk and then a minute to work with that 30 push, 30 all out. Block 4, a little bit different. They're gonna see equal work and rest, and it's gonna be 30 seconds of all outs, 30-second walk recovery. So true up and down peaks and valleys here. And the goal is to hit your best all out intensity. So hopefully by that 3rd attempt, it's absolute best one of the day so far. With that equal amount of recovery, trying to bump it up is going to be pretty tough unless they really scale back and really drop that speed as much as possible during their walk recoveries to maximize that rest. And then there you have it. That's the treads, nice and simple. Power days, they don't have to be overcomplicated, and they definitely didn't make it for that. Now on the weight floor, blocks 1, 2, and 3, just on the floor, you're going to focus body weight, and then loaded with weight, and then explosive. Block 1 is going to be upper body chest. Block 2, we're going to see some squats, and then block 3, upper body with a pull, the row mechanic. So we'll start with a strap chest press, followed by a single arm dumbbell chest press from that low bench position. Standard tempo, so from that extended out, 1, 2, pause, 1, 2, back up, 6 on each arm, and then they go into that low bench push-up, and it's explosive tempo. So it's not a power push-up where they're lifting the hands off the bench, they're keep the hands on there, think 1, 2, maybe 3 counts, pause, and then quickly drive up and explode up. We want to try to do all 3 things back to back to back, really fatigue the chest, the shoulders, the triceps, and the core with those 24 total reps, because you have 6, 12, 6, and then they rest. Once they've recovered, they do it again. If they are truly get into that point of explosive failure, they're probably going to take about 30 to 40 seconds to recover. So we should see at least 2-3 rounds here. Block 2, same idea, but now we're going to go with the squat mechanic. We're going to see the alternating transverse squat. One thing that I notice a lot of people do, at least my studio, is they'll tend to do more like a step straight to the side or straight down. A great analogy is, imagine like there's a circle or a clock on the floor. You're starting at 12 and you're stepping around the edge to 3 p.m., come back to 12, step to 9 p.m. So they're not going straight down. They are making that, arc out and back up. It's only 6 total, and they are alternating legs, so 3 bodyweight squats per side. Then they're going to do that step down goblet squat from the top of the low bench. They're doing 6 on the left, 6 on the right. Key thing with that movement is the hips are going to be a little offset. And for some people that could be a little uncomfortable, but this is actually a very important movement because a lot of times we squat on uneven surface. Your day-to-day when you have to pick stuff up, a lot of times you are a little off balance when you have to squat. So might as well train that with some weight so that way you are better prepared. And that's a way to kind of bring it to life within the studio. And then finally, they pair that up with the third movement with an explosive tempo, regular goblet squat. So both feet on the floor, 1, 2, 3, pause, drive up fast. Like imagine they're trying to do a jump squat, but the feet stay on the floor the entire time. Same thing, do all 24 reps, rest, and then repeat. It is a minute shorter on this block, but we should still get at least two rounds in. And then the final block on the floor, this is where there is a small change up. In July, they just did a regular strap row. For this month, we see the inclusion of a new version of that. We actually saw this in the Strength 50 template on Monday, if you coached it then, but it's a rotational row. So for this one, you start with your palms down, thumbs in, and as they pull, they're gonna rotate the hands and make sure they drop the elbows and then back down. The VPA has them stop right here. If they want to make it a little bit extra spicy, they could go from here and they could rotate all the way over to that reverse grip, all the way back. Just keep in mind, reverse grip low rows, we did that on Monday with the strap for the burpee relay. On Tuesday, we had the dumbbell version of that one. So if you have someone coming in on a 3rd day in a row, they probably don't want to do that full rotation. If anything, maybe just the regular strap row is going to be a good option. Then that's going to be paired up with a split stance, single arm, low row, and then paired up with 2 dumbbells with that explosive tempo, low row. One thing to keep in mind is, obviously that low row with that explosive tempo is very easy for people to bounce and kind of launch their body up. So really have them control that body as much as possible. If it bothers their lower back, take them back to the strap, and you could have them do like a bridge row to really increase that intensity, but still try to keep that tempo. 4.5 minutes, they'll probably barely get two rounds in here. Now the final block, this is gonna be timed up with the treads. They're gonna head to the rowers, 30-second all-out row, recovery row, all-out, recovery, all-out. Even though they give a distance goal, the goal here, is to hit your best all-out intensity. So if anything, you could let them keep a running clock, and it's more about like the peak of their wattage during those 30-second all-outs. So ideally, if they are hitting their peak power, it's going to be about 15 to 20 seconds into that all-out, because it takes some time for their body to ramp up, generate that power, keep that momentum. So around 15 to 20 seconds, have them glance at their wattage, see how high it is, and then on that next all-out, can they get to that same peak or a little bit higher? And then the same thing for that third all-out. So it's all going to be about that leg drive. They're going to see a pretty high stroke rate, maybe 28 to 32 plus, 10 out of 10 out of leg drive from that lower body. And also keep that core tight, protect that lower back. And that's the row block. Now we look at the 3G. Tread's going to see 3 blocks. Rower is going to have 2 blocks, and weight floor is going to have 3 blocks. So block 1, 2, and 3 on the treads. This is simply blocks 2, 3, and then the bonus block from the 2G. So you're gonna have a 5.5 minute block with the 45, 90, 45, and then a 4.5 minute block with the 30, 90, 30, and then they have that bonus block with the 30 seconds on repeat for 3 rounds. So same carryover from over there. Obviously, can they match or beat their push and the all out during that bonus after that 1 minute walk recovery? Between each block, there is only 1 minute to recover compared to the 2G where they get 90 seconds. So even though it's a shorter duration with less recovery, they might only be able to maintain from block to block. And that's totally fine. Now, when we look at the rower, the first block is a little bit longer. It's gonna be 11 minutes. They have 3 parts to this. They're gonna start part 1 with a body weight in, out, step combo for 10 reps. They'll do that just 1 time. Then they're gonna complete a 400-meter row twice. The key thing with this row though, it's a build. So the first half is a push, and then the back half is an all-out effort row. They rest, and they redo that build again, okay? Once they've done 2 rounds, then they move to the next part. They'll do that same body weight movement, and then same thing, but now the build is 300 meters. So 150 push, 150 all out, 2 times, and then on the third part, it'll be a 200-meter build, 100 push, 100 all out. Key thing here is having people kind of think about slow burn. So 6 to 7 on the leg drive for that first half, maybe a lower stroke rate, 24 to 28. So that way you could see that difference when the push into their all-out effort. And in fact, that's a great call out over the mic is, letting members know like, hey, if I watch you row, I should know and tell if you are doing a push or an all-out based off of how you move. Because if they look the same, then there is no difference there. So how are they creating that extra output from uncomfortable to very uncomfortable if they look the same? So that's a great way to kind of help set people up for that. Once they finish 2 rounds of that 200-meter build, at the very end, then the bonus is just to row until time is called. When we move into block 2, this is going to be that same row block from the 2G. So 30 all out, recover, 30 all out, recover, 30 all out, timed up with the treads. Weight floor. This is going to be simply load and explode. So they're going to drop the body weight movement. Otherwise, it's the exact same thing from blocks 1, 2, and 3 on the floor in the 2G. So single arm chest press paired up with the bench push up with explosive tempo for block 1. Block 2, you'll have a step down squat paired up with the explosive goblet squat. And then block 3, single arm low row paired up with the explosive tempo low row. And then the finisher here is just increase intensity because they only have 2.5 minutes. So they'll probably get 1 round in and then they'll maybe start that second round and then they're hitting their finisher. So they'll get about 2 rounds and that's gonna be it. That's the 3G for that day. Once again, Wednesday, December 4th, power day, across the room. Be explosive, peaks and valleys, all that fun stuff. As always, any feedback, let me know. Coach it down.